The Republic of France had scored a major victory in northern Italy. The rising star amongst French generals, Napoleon Bonaparte had defeated the combined forces of the British and the Austrian armies in Milan, defeating them soundly and forcing them to retreat all the way back to Vienna. And now Napoleon is at the crossroads. Should he pursue his enemy all the way to the gates of Vienna, or should he consolidate his position in northern Italy? In northern Italy, three states belong to the Austrian Empire, providing them income to the Austrian coffers and providing them resources to combat the war further. But towards Vienna is where victory lies and the conclusion of this fight. Which direction should Napoleon go? Hello friends and gamers, my name is Jinx, and today we're working on episode number 3.5, The French Turn. It's an interesting one. I had to think about this one quite a bit. Not only I had to count everything up on the map to count up what the incomes are. So as a refresher, the Austrians collect 28 production points, the British 28, and the new revised one for the French is actually only 44. I thought it was up in the 56 range, but no, it's 44, which is a lot less than I expected. So in light of that, we are at an income disparity. The coalition collects more income-wise, production points. It collects more political action points, and at this state, I suspect they have more units on the board than the French Republic does. So we're left at a bit of a crossroads here, decision as to what to do. If we move our forces into Tyrol and towards Vienna, we're going to be faced with a surprising force in Austria. With a new round of units being placed in Vienna itself, we'll have a substantial force in the front of us, and that will be a little bit something to be concerned about, where we could be easily defeated and pushed back, and we don't want to see that. Alternatively, we can capture or at least place units on top of these territories, meaning that the Austrians can't collect income from them. And I believe that is the better choice at this point. So without further ado, let's dive into our turn and press on with our intentions. So first of all, we're going to send an infantry down to Tuscany. We're going to send an infantry from Milan to Piedmont to reinforce that position. One light infantry will stay behind here, and the rest of our forces are going to move to the Papal States, excluding Napoleon. So we're going to send a cavalry, we're going to send an elite infantry, an artillery. So those 4 units there against the states in Piedmont, in the Papal States. Kind of a historical pathway that we're following here. It's kind of interesting to see. Our 2 cavalry here and Napoleon, we're going to move them up to Lorraine to strengthen our position here in the face of quite the substantial force of Austrians, the largest army on the board. So cavalry, a heavy cavalry, Napoleon are all going to Lorraine. From Switzerland, we're going to send 1 infantry up to Lorraine as well, and from Belgium, 1 unit will come down. From Paris, we're going to send 1 unit to Picardy here, and I believe that about does it. This naval unit, I think he's going to come around. I think he's going to stay here to give us some options in the future. I don't know what we'll do with that, but we're going to stay there and hang out for now. And I believe that's it for our moves. No decisive attacks at this stage, just nothing but hammering the enemy everywhere we can from an economic vantage point. So that suppresses $6 of income from the Austrian forces, and takes 1 infantry off the board for them effectively when they want to produce units. We're also going to attempt to use our political action point to capture the Papal States. So, I have to remember what that looks like. We have 4 to 6, Yeah, if I have 4 to 6 units, then I can get a chance at doing it. So I add +1 on my dice. So as a refresher, I believe I roll 1 dice, and currently, see what it looks like. So I have +1 for having 4 to 6 in that area. I don't have more than 7 units, so I don't get +2. I don't have any adjacent area that is under French control. So I can't do that one either. And subtract 1 if there are any major nations at war with the annexing nations. So I am basically down to 0. So it's a dice off, and we're hoping for a 5 or 6. If it's less than 5 or 6, the defending nation can collect some units to fight. So it's a decent chance we're going to lose this one. We'll basically get it for sure. It just is a matter of how many units we'll bring into the fight. So let's roll. 1. So we do have a minor nation to contend with. So we need to roll. Okay, my thinking is, if I have this correct, I roll 1 dice. If it's 1 to 4, then that's how many infantry units I get. Yeah, okay, so here's for infantry, 6. They do not get any infantry. Here's for cavalry. They don't get any cavalry. It's going to be 1 and 2 is cavalry, and 0 and 1 is artillery. Oops. Miss. So the Papal States, although they resisted the attack, they do not get any units in the Papal States. So we managed to pick up the Papal States. Excellent. So just as a refresher for how that works, you roll 1 dice. You have to try to roll 5 or higher. And then there's the modifiers below. So if you want, you could pause the screen there to see what the results are. So that's excellent. We get an extra $2 to spend on our subsequent turn. Not too shabby. Okay. I believe that's it for our movements and actions. We used up a political action point for that as well, so there's that. And now we go on to the production round. So there's no more movements on the board, just our production round at this point. So let's take a look at what our production is. For the French, we have something to the tune of, we have something to the tune of 42 with the Papal States now added to that mix. $42 to spend. I'm going to bump myself up here as well to a grand total of 46 on that board up there. So 42 to spend here. We have 2 territories are suppressed, so that's not going to happen. One is in Holland and one is in Baden-Württemberg. The British have, that's 20, 25, 28, and the Austrians have 28 with 6 being suppressed, those ones being the ones in northern Italy. So that's the situation there. 6 lost, 4 lost. We gained $2 just now. And these are our purchases. We're going to go 5 infantry and 1 cavalry. Now with those 2 extra bucks, I guess we're just saving it. I didn't really incorporate that into my plans. Looks like we're saving it. And the rest of the British are going to get 1 cavalry for the Austrians, 1 artillery and 2 infantry. A leader for the Austrians are going to purchase, and a cavalry as well. So that's the situation, what we're doing. We're also getting a political action point. We get 1 for these for the French, we get 1 for the British, and 1 for the Austrians. That's what the situation looks like, broadly speaking. And where do we put those units? Now, I suspect it has to be first the coalition forces, since they go first, and these guys are all going to go down. At this point, I guess they have the option to choose where they go down. So we could, in theory, put them down in Tyrol. Because why not? Sure, why not? Although it doesn't really benefit us too much unless we want to force march something. Yeah. Alternatively, the enemy can't do too much against us in Tyrol either. So we're going to put all these guys down here. Unless that's a silly thing to do. You know what, maybe we'll just do it here because I don't know if there's any unforeseen consequences that I'm just simply not aware of. So we're going to put them all in Vienna, I think. I might correct that later on, but that's what we're going to do there. Now the British, they're going to place their 2 units, and I suppose London is a good choice for them because why not? It has to be in territories that are in your color, that aren't occupied by the enemy. And the French are going to put units in Lorraine, which is this mess of units right here, which is also this task force marker here. So that's an additional couple of units showing up here. So now we have a decent sized force, and I'm going to just give a little countdown as to what that looks like, just for my benefit and yours. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 infantry, 2 light infantry. We have 2 artillery here and 1 cavalry. On the board itself, on the map itself, we have 1 artillery, 2 infantry, 1 elite infantry, a heavy cavalry, a light cavalry, and a leader Napoleon in that area. So we're basically matching what the Austrians have. For their part, they have a heavy cavalry, a light cavalry, an artillery, and elite infantry. And over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 infantry, 2 artillery, and a light cavalry. So I believe the French have a slight edge at this point in strength-wise, but they do get to go first in action next turn, which means that perhaps his cavalry can simply charge up to the front ranks over there. Whether that means force marching or otherwise, they can make their presence felt on the battle board. And I believe that is it altogether across the turn for this round for end of June. And so we're going to take a look at the battle board here. Actually, let's take a look at the casualties in total. 1 British Navy, 2 French infantry, 2 Austrian, artillery for Austrians, artillery for British, elite infantry, and then a cavalry of both British and the Austrian forces. And this is what the board looks like here at the end of his turn. 54 for the combined coalition forces, and 46 for the combined, well, French and French Empire units. And now we will move ourselves up to July, and we start a brand new year. And pretty soon we're going to be pushing on towards winter, which I'll have to refresh my memory to see if anything fancy occurs then. Thank you all for watching. Cheers!